Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of Digi India Squad series from the M&M girls, that is Monica and Mansi. Hi, Monica.
Hi, Mansi.
Hey, I'm so glad we're back again. We have seen that the pandemic times have changed the world, the lifestyle, the way of doing business, and the way people behave. There are things that changed overnight, of course, because of the lockdown and how people have dealt with it. And also, we're going to discuss all these things today. Okay, the change, or rather the shift in consumer behavior during the COVID times, that's the pandemic times, and also what to expect next. That is our topic for today. It's very interesting how we came up with this topic, and I'm going to ask Monica to tell us about it. Monica, since you suggested the topic, go on.
Yeah, I really wanted to share this story because during the Ganesha festival, you see these full one-pager ads from all the big brands, like the Girias and Big Bazaar and all, and they're selling products. And with these products, they are selling some add-on item, right, as a uh, as a hook. So this time, I mean, I was so surprised when I looked at the Girias ad. The stuff that they were selling as the add-on items included an oximeter, an infrared thermometer, and a sanitizer dispenser. And I mean, it just struck me at that time that how things have changed and what are the things that are important to people today, right? So and that's why I thought that this would actually make a very interesting topic, which where we could research a little more and find out that what have been the changes during the lockdown, post the lockdown, and what has been the reason behind these changes. Whether this is going to be a short-lived thing or something that is going to define the new normal, as the term buzzword has become. So that is what we are going to talk about today. So I wanted to just ask you, Mansi, uh, based on your interactions with people, have you noticed some changes in their shopping behaviors?
Yes. In fact, I want to talk about it from two aspects. One is my own experience, and two is I consult for a couple of businesses. So, from their experience, what is happening. So, if you look at it from my own experiences, one is I was never at home, in the sense, even though I would consult and I would sit and work from home and all of that stuff, I would just go out to get that break, like just go sit in a coffee shop, have some coffee and come back to get that change. And then I made it a point that, I would just go to Big Bazaar and just go around and see, because when you sit there and watch, you get to see a lot of things that the consumers are doing.
Mm-hmm.
So all those things changed. Okay, I see. I generally used to use public transport because I really need to know what people do. Okay, and that is where I would get the best of insights from. uh, None of those are happening now. No meeting friends, none of those happening now, even though I have been doing everything virtually for the last 10 years. Okay, I consult only online. You will never see me go to a client's place and all that. Those are the kind of clients also, they've supported me all throughout. So for the past 10 years, even though I've been doing this, what I see as a shift is that I'm home. I'm literally home. And today it's more like, I go to the shop nearby and pick it up. And what I have found is this is great. This is awesome. Because when I go to the supermarket, I just go there and shop and shop and shop, which means that I'm also buying things that I may not need at all. I can survive. Like
Hmm.
biscuits. Let's buy 3, 4 color, varieties of it. Why? Here I go. I'm like biscuits, and he's like, what? Which one? Okay, and he'll pull out the one that's required and give it to you. And then you ask for one more. He's like, have you made up your mind? You sure? So you will pick up what exactly you want. You're not going to spend like a lot more than expected, or buy things that you may or may not need over a period of time.
Hmm.
So I go to the local store and pick up things. And definitely vegetables. I found this guy online, and he's got like acres of land, and he's doing organic farming. So for two and a half
Hmm.
thousand rupees a month, he just, whatever he grows, he'll give me a list saying that, this is what is ready this week for harvesting. So you tell me what you need, and from that list you pick up, and he will give you a certain quantity, and that comes home straight. So organic vegetables being delivered home, and he'll give you like loads of it. So it's fresh and nice. I did not know vegetables could be kept for 3-4 days without fridge. Okay, and these vegetables
Yeah.
can be, because it comes straight from the farm and it's still so fresh after 3-4 days. So I have seen that, that shift is there. Otherwise it was always definitely, even now it's like, big basket and things like that. I still do order online couple of things. No more Myntra, no more Flipkart, because I'm not buying anything that's going to take me outside. Okay. So none of those I'm visiting nowadays. And I found this lovely stores in Baswangudi called the GR stores, Guru Raghavendra stores. We used to go there for simple things, but then now it's like he's got so much of homemade stuff. Okay. And when I went there, what impressed me was this guy does everything at his store. Like he just gets the wheat there, grinds it, and gives us the atta. Okay. So even all these things are like really, really amazing in how it comes together. What about you, Monica?
Yeah, so what you're saying is exactly what the studies also show, that people's shopping has become more about the essentials for one, and the other thing is that there is a fall in the discretionary categories, and that includes the apparel, travel, footwear, and eating out as well. So eating out, one, of course, from the safety perspective, it has definitely gone down. And there was an interesting thing which you were mentioning before we started the recording, that the preference for hot food, something that can be reheated versus the cold foods. There is a emphasis on eating healthy. There is an emphasis on buying things which are organic, because everybody wants to maximize their immunity and uh, fight COVID if they do get afflicted. So yeah, so these changes are definitely there, and I have seen these changes. So I actually interviewed a couple of people in my apartment, and I was just asking them, how has your shopping pattern changed? So one they said was that earlier if they were choosy about a brand, they are not that anymore, because they will just buy what is nearest because they want to reduce the travel. Yes, so when I spoke to these ladies, they told me that one of them has, used to always buy in bulk, and she has stopped doing that. The other person used to always buy in small quantities and has now started buying in bulk. So I mean, you can see that there is a difference, because perspectives also are changing in a different way, right? For one person it's become, okay, let's just buy what is there and only as much as needed. The other person's like, you never know when things may get worse, and I need to purchase in bulk. So you again see that there is a slightly different viewpoint here. Other things which they said was that, of course, distance has become a factor. If they were earlier going to metro, which is about 6 kilometers away, to buy their weekend stuff, like everything for the month, they're stocking up like that, where you save a lot of money. Instead of that, they're going to something nearer just to avoid that extra travel. So all those things have changed. And I was actually, while I was researching this topic, I came across a very interesting study from McKinsey. And in fact, before sharing that, I just wanted to share that very interestingly, in the first lockdown, what were the items that actually what were the items that actually saw a huge spike in orders? Was apparel, baby clothes, electronics, home, and household items. So while this was quite interesting, the other items seem fairly logical to me, like baby clothes, because if people are going to be out of diapers and out of, reusable stuff and all that, maybe they'll buy. Electronic also, I understand, with people working from home items, obviously, household. Apparel, I was a little surprised, but it did happen. So I'm not quite sure what the reason behind that was. Maybe, people were preparing, thinking that the lockdown would be for a short period, and after that, they would finally be going out. So I don't know what the logic was. I'm just guessing here. So that was an interesting thing. And then from the McKinsey report survey, which talked about the items which people started purchasing recently. I'm just looking at the what were the top spends in India as people settle into the new normal. So this is post the lockdown. So if you see in the upper middle class kind of demographic, a lot of things like convenience devices, like dishwashers and cleaning robots, that saw a spike in orders. And self-care items like a facial hair remover, because people stopped going to parlors and salons, right? Hair trimmers and cutters, even tummy trimmers, which is an exercising tool, that also saw a surge in orders. Other things were quite understandable: groceries, household supplies, home entertainment, because when you're at home, obviously, so I'm sure the Netflix and Amazon Prime subscribers must have definitely shot up. Then consumer electronics, fitness and wellness, international flights once they opened, alcohol. It was crazy when the lockdown opened up in Bangalore. My goodness, people had 1.5 lakh worth of bills in alcohol shops. Yeah. So, I mean, that is like, and definitely it's a boost to the economy. So I'm saying nothing more. And then, of course, there were the non-food child products, then personal care products, books, and printed materials, and vehicle purchases, surprisingly. So again, I didn't get the detail on what kind of vehicles. I really wanted to get into that, but I didn't get much detail. But this is from the McKinsey report, which I will include in the blog if you want to go into this in detail later. So Mansi, your thoughts on this?
Sounds great. Yeah, I mean, apparels and vehicles, these are two things that kind of, it's different. Like, you're not supposed to go out and then you go and buy vehicles. Why? You're not going out. Why
I
do you
think,
shop for
see,
apparels?
one thing which I just came to me, maybe, because with the Uber and Ola coming in, buying had become a secondary option versus using the service, because you just need to get somewhere. You don't want the headache of ownership. But maybe with the COVID, the fear of infection, cross-infection may have been something. Do you think that could have been a fear that, let's not get into a taxi,
Possible,
better to
possible.
pick our own vehicle?
Especially when you have big time, it's possible.
Right?
Especially when you have senior citizens and when you have children at home. I think that is the next big possibility, that, let's own our own car. Or also the possibility that we have all 2-3 cars at home. We don't have a two-wheeler, because every time you want to go to a shop nearby, which has become the trend now, which is the new normal now, you don't go out and buy in bulk, and you don't go to supermarkets where everybody is there and all that. When you go local, you can't take a car and just go 2 roads away and come back.
Yeah.
So I think those
and in
might have
some
happened.
cases, I think people feel safer in cars now than two-wheelers. Maybe the two-wheeler owners would have been opting for four-wheelers, for the sake of safety. That could also be it. Anyway, we're just guessing. We don't know.
Huge possibilities.
But yeah,
right.
I think, and they seem to be kind of logical guesses. In my view, at least, it seems like
I
that.
think so. I think
Yeah.
what I would also want to look into is the report that you just mentioned, the McKinsey report that you mentioned. I think they've mentioned about 4 or 5 subheadings on, what is it that happened in terms of behavior. So I think I'm just going to sum that up. Okay. The first thing we're talking about is a shift to value and essentials. As you rightly mentioned, people not going to the parlors, but they bought things that is required for home. Okay. Then groceries and, all those essentials. One, products that can add value to them if they're at home and they're not allowed to go out, and obviously the essentials. So that's one part of it. And then how people have moved to digital and omni-channel, right? So everybody moved to digital. I have personally seen that. We call the generation previous to us, who were like, just thinking of using Facebook, are today very comfortable using Big Basket, using anything that's online, ordering food online. Even though they don't do most of it, they just don't want to get anything from home. So that's one part of it. And then the next heading they have is shock to loyalty. It's almost like
Mm.
saying that, what
Yeah.
happened to loyalty? So why are people moving away from loyalty? They were so loyal to brands. Well, when you say lockdown, logistics stopped. So when you don't get your brand of things, you go out
Right.
there and you're trying to shop and you don't get your brand, you move to the next best brand that is available. So here it was more all about availability. It was not about loyalty. It was more about convenience, comfort,
Mm.
and availability. So I think shock to loyalty is a lovely, subheading that they have. Okay, and then health and caring economy. So what they have mentioned is even when people went out, any store that showed off that they really care, they would
Mm.
sanitize after everybody, or
A
they would
social
make you sanitize your
distancing,
hands before
those
coming in.
squares and stuff would be made. So you
Yes,
kind of
yes.
felt confident that they are paying attention to this.
And we have stores everywhere which says no masks, no entry. Simple. Okay,
Mm.
especially the food ones. You do not have bakeries and restaurants where you're allowed without a mask. Okay,
Mm.
so this was happening for quite some time. So that's another heading that they have spoken about. And then this is very interesting. The last one they're talking about is they call it a home body economy. Um,
Mm.
and they have said that 70% of the survey respondents, they don't feel comfortable resuming their normal out of home activities.
Mm.
um, they've just adjusted their behavior due to health crisis, and they just want to stay home. They will not venture out for no reason. Okay, so these are things that McKinsey report mentions, as subheadings. But there's one more thing that's happening. Like, I think Accenture came out with an article or a report, and this was way back, like a month into lockdown. That's April. I think they mentioned very clearly that the attitudes and behaviors and purchasing habits are changing, and this might change for good. There is no coming back. Okay, this might change for good. That's something that they mentioned, and people are more conscious nowadays when it comes to shopping. As I said, like, I wouldn't go and just pick up whatever is there. I would think whether I want it or not. Like, I have a list. I'm very conscious, right? Like, if I'm going out, there is an objective that, okay, I want this, and I'm pushed to go out. So I go there and buy it. So I'm conscious about what I'm buying. I just go, I see the list. This is what I want. I will just pick it up and come back. It's more about, let me spend as less time as possible in that crowded place. So
Yeah.
that's happening. So, and of course, the work from home, like, everybody is working from home. My house assistant would probably work from home as well. Okay. so yes, those things happened. Those things happened during the lockdown. So quite a bit of shift in everybody's behavior in terms of consumption for products and services.
Mm.
And I mean, this is what I saw from a personal point of view. But
Mm.
the one thing that I have seen from a business point of view is paradigm shift in terms of the funnel approach. Nobody's speaking about the funnel right now. Nobody is. It's all about sustenance right now. It's all about holding those people back, because we know we're going to bounce back somewhere, and it's going to be soon. Because yes, people are back on the streets right now. I don't see too much of restraints in terms of going out. I do see people come out. And people are getting back to normal very quickly now. So brands knew that, okay, it might be 3 months, 6 months, but people will come back,
Mm.
because these are essentials, right? So the idea of communication during this time was of sustenance. So what I saw was, especially on social media, brands moved to content that was more, again, back to awareness and education, and pushing them to the consideration phase and keeping that. No, not many people spoke about sale. Not many people spoke about purchases. And finally, I saw the right approach to advertising, where people started spending money on the top two parts of the funnel rather than the bottom of the funnel. So
Mm.
that happened from a business perspective. I think that happened beautifully. I love the fact that people did not push for purchases and sale. It's more to do, I mean, all content was to do with sentiment, to be a part of them, to educate them that, don't be scared, or we're here for you, and you are our priority. It came out
Mm.
really well. It came out right. It came out just right. So it was a fantastic approach from a business perspective. It went really well. So that's what I would say. And also from an internal business perspective, at least the clients that I've handled and what I've heard from the industry, the news, all of that. If you look at it, there was a lot of shift at a very high level. The CXO level members, the VP level members, I saw a lot of shift in a lot of companies. And I mean, at least I'll tell you why of what I have heard and what I've interacted and all that. Um, See, this was a tough time. People were losing their jobs and the company wasn't making money. Most companies weren't making any money, okay? Because people was, you just didn't come out. You had like 1 month period where nobody came out. So what can you look for as business apart from groceries and probably milk? And I don't know, there was nothing else to buy, right? So there was a dip. And why there was a membership is because resilience at a leadership level.
Mm.
Were leaders capable enough to hold that crazy things happening outside, the stress, the pressure to themselves and not let it percolate among their employees? Okay, so that saw a lot of shift in leadership levels. The companies that I work with and the people I know, this made them have those shifts within the company.
Mm.
So the resilience at the leadership level was something that I saw, which was lacking. I mean, at a normal level, we were like, it's going on. The company goes on. You're making money, and you just stop thinking. Okay, but then when such things truly tests leadership, the
Mm.
style, the methodology, the work, the everything in the company, so there were shifts at a leadership level that happened because of COVID, and true leaders emerged. Managers, small time managers were shifted and promoted, given double promotions, because they had that empathy in them. They did not lose people, and they found ways of retaining their people. They said, instead of just laying off 10 people, why don't we all take a 20% pay cut so that everybody takes home a salary? So these are things that were made at company level, decisions that were made at CXO level. And we had CXO members come back and ask the managers, now you tell me what to do. They came back to the employees and asked them, what do we do? We are in this situation. How do we do this? This brought in a lot of, ownership, accountability, and leadership among the employees as well and associates as well. So huge things happening across.
Yeah, yeah. So if we really go into understanding the reasons why this huge shift has happened, one is of course falling incomes, because of which many people have either lost their income, or their incomes have been halved and they're not getting full pay, and it's not going to happen for another months, is what many people know. So that obviously has led to this choice of moving towards a minimalism kind of state, right, where you are just going to look at things of value and essentials. Then of course, as Mansi also said, safety above all else. So we see a pickup in the type of shopping, which includes curbside pickup and contactless buying. That has seen an uptake. Anything which supports home deliveries has also seen a huge uptake. People are going for less expensive items, where that shock to loyalty has happened, that if your brand, even if it is available at that time, but it is not but people are not just picking it up earlier, where you would pick it up without a thought. Now people are just thinking that, can I maybe get a less expensive option? So that experimentation has been there. So in the McKinsey report itself, the survey showed that 61% will be more mindful way to spend, and 45% will actually go for less expensive options, and 40% will be researching the brand and the product choices before buying. And when we say researching the brand, what are the kind of things they are looking at? They're looking at environmental responsibility, they are looking at social responsibility, and things like how that organization has treated its employees during the lockdown, right? So all these things have made a difference. Then and I like to think that I think it has also been because of some recognition of our ephemeral existence, and understanding that we are not the beginning and the end of the world, and we are actually very puny compared to that. So I think that has also led to some change in perspective, where people have, so you see it's been like a um, rise in empathy. If you see the way life was rushing by, people were not thinking. I'll tell you a simple example. Uh, if there is somebody crossing the road, now we know in India, with the kind of traffic, most people who drive do not have the patience, right, to stop for pedestrians. And we don't even have any like designated spots where the pedestrians are actually going to cross. They can cross anywhere. So if you think, if I stop for one, my God, I'll never reach where I. So you have that kind of thing. And I have noticed nowadays many times, especially when there are fewer people on the roads, that people will stop. How has this thing happened? Because your pace has gone down, and therefore your patience levels have gone up. So things which it's like, one of my yoga gurus used to say that you have to remember things to do them. So if you want to be a kind person, you have to remember to be kind. So this COVID period has actually given people that time and space, decelerated the pace of life, where, you remember to show that human side of yourself. So that's why one of the points which came up during the survey was that when I understood this, that people are choosing brands that have treated their employees well. This is what we have been talking about earlier in our earlier episodes for travel and hospitality, that, if you are supporting your employees, talk about it on social media, share that, because that is important for people to appreciate about your brand. It's because it's part of your brand story today. So that was very good. I also wanted to, share a little bit on the kind of services that have suddenly seen a spike. So of course, the online education, online training, as Mansi was saying, like everyone has gone online. For everything you see, webinars, I mean, everyone is reaching a point of webinar saturation also. But the thing is that there is no other option, right? People cannot come to physical classes. So what are you going to do? So online education, online training, then e-pharmacies where you SMS an order and, it gets delivered. Home sample collections has gone up substantially. Drive-through testing, which is a new kind of thing which has come up. Then virtual consultations, home healthcare. Many people who are also seeing symptoms of COVID are preferring to first get somebody in to actually check you out before you have to go into a hospital and, risk getting into, an infectious kind of environment. So, and telemedicine services, of course, right? Can you think of anything else, Mansi? Do you think that, you see that a new kind of thing has suddenly become very popular?
I think you've covered most of it. As you said, medicine, food, education, industry. I think these three things have made that paradigm shift.
I think sorry to interrupt.
Go on.
So even in the type of online games and apps, so online gaming has gone up, the consumption of online applications has gone up, but within that also you see an increase in learning tools, entertainment, video conferencing tools. A lot of businesses, IT organizations have started developing their own video conference tools, like the Geo Meet came up, right, to compete with Zoom, because you saw that shift and the fear of security and all of that. Meditation apps, download of meditation apps has gone up because mental well-being has become such an important element today, right? I also saw one very interesting mention. So from Think with Google, I got this there, that consumers are now experiencing fluid day parts. Play is blending into work and weeks are spilling into weekends. Which is exactly how it is, right? There are no boundaries. Like you can't just sit on a Friday end thinking, oh, it's the weekend, because work is spilling over there and housework is spilling into the weekdays. Right, so definitely something. Then there was one more point, which was there is a 39% increase in streaming TV from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. This is for all those people who have their laptops on, but actually they're watching a movie, just letting their family know that we're busy, don't disturb us. So that it's because between 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come on. And this is from during March 9th, 2020 to March 23rd, 2020, prime time is 9 hours earlier than normal. These are all the people who created those horrible videos that, how the men are suffering at home when they have to work and all that. These are the people who did that. Okay, so that was an interesting,
Right.
yeah,
And
very
I
interesting
think when you
point.
talked about the videos, the ban that before the TikTok was banned, yes, we saw some really hilarious videos that made the rounds.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And I used to
and you
I used to
talk
actually
about
get mad at them. No, because
and
I'll
also,
tell you.
Monica, you won't believe it. When you talked about the apps, can you believe it? There is a virtual hand sanitizer. You should go to Google Play Store and have a look at the millions of downloads it has received.
Good
Virtual
Lord.
hand sanitizer. I am
That
amazed.
just sounds crazy. I'll just tell you, last weekend we had to go out because we really needed some stuff which we needed to buy, and we didn't want to buy from the online stores. So we went there. We must have gone to maybe 6 or 7 shops. Sometimes it was just about, just peeking in and seeing what's in stock and coming out. But then I had to use the sanitizer 7 times. So my hand was, alternatively smelling from lemon to orange to hibiscus to something, something, something out of each shop. By the end of that 7th shop, we still had stuff to buy. I was exhausted. It was so, I mean, just getting into the shops, everybody in masks, maintaining that distance, it adds an extra layer of stress. I mean, not like, I mean, it's just there that you're being careful, or, sometimes, you're standing too near and then you move a little back. I mean, you have to, that extra thing, which is always there in your mind, it just ruined the shopping experience, very honestly, for me. I was like, after about an hour, I was like, never mind what we bought, let's just go home. Like, home seemed to be the best place. So even though we're saying like we're stuck at home, but even if you leave home and go out, because of the very unnatural environment outside, you don't enjoy that experience as well. Right? So
Shopping
I
is no
think,
more fun.
yeah. And I know
Shopping is
that's
no
not
more
going to
fun.
go
Definitely no.
very soon, right? I mean, that's just going to be there for many
No,
months.
it depends, right? I mean, I, I don't know, Monica. I don't know because you know, I've seen people. Okay, Mysore Zoo. I went to the
Hmm.
Mysore Zoo, uh, and there was nobody. Like literally nobody. Like
Yeah, yeah.
compared to a weekend when it was so crowded, and now there was nobody. I was like, wow. Okay, so yeah, nobody is coming out at all, whether it is the zoo. I mean,
Hmm.
no entertainment stuff. Yeah, no, nothing.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
are not
yeah.
coming out. But
In
at the
fact, I
same time, I
saw,
don't see the market being, I mean, I don't think the markets ever had a break, like except the lockdown when nobody was supposed to go out, probably, at certain time of the day.
mm,
They were always full, right? When whatever markets we saw, they were always full. So I think
yeah.
it's more to do with products, essentials and non-essentials.
Mm. I think one more thing is, what do you think that these, see, of course, even say we find a vaccine tomorrow and it starts getting distributed in India and people have access to it. Even then, for many months, some level of safety standards will have to be followed. People themselves will not venture out. Even so, for example, if we say schools now in Karnataka, the date has been shifted to 31st September. That that's when the next decision will be taken. But parents themselves may not feel very secure about sending the children, right? And especially younger children. Older children, maybe for examinations or whatever, you may feel that okay, and they're old enough to take care of themselves. But for younger children, I don't think so. A lot of these changes, I think, which have happened are going to be there for some time. These are not short-lived. My internet, okay, I think I'm back. So these are not short-lived. I'll give you a simple example. Many of the people in my apartment who have invested in dishwashers and these robot cleaners and stuff are never going to get their helpers back. So they have, for example, so let's say somebody who has invested in a facial hair remover may never feel the need to go to the salon now that they have something to manage it on their own, right? So some segment of the consumers will be lost to businesses for sure. Those who
Forever,
have,
yes, yes,
yeah,
definitely
so those
forever.
who have found better options. Earlier, see, during a commute and a regular tiring day, going to a salon for many people was also a stress buster because you are pampered. Now it's too risky. So, and now you just prefer to do it yourself because it's just safer to do it. So, um, I don't know. Many things are not going to actually go back to normal at all, right? Even if you see offices, there are so many organizations that are talking of closing down their offices and just going on with a work from home option for employees. And many offices have declared that they will have maybe 50% strength most of the time. They're going to encourage work from home. um, the report also talked about how 80% of consumers are saying that they now feel more connected to their communities, and that is also encouraging them to kind of stay home more, spend more time at home, and interacting with people around them, which earlier people just didn't have time for. And there is a shift also in terms of buying from local businesses versus the larger brands, because people are empathizing that local businesses are going through a much harder time. Of course, the large businesses are also hit, but they have the buffer. Small businesses don't have that buffer, so people are now opting to support the local small businesses as well. Um, then also in terms of the time that people are going to shop, so 70% of shoppers said that they intend to plan their shopping earlier to avoid the crowd. So the prime time kind of thing will also change. And 80% of planned shoppers will consolidate their shopping to reduce the number of trips. So this is what we did, right? We went out I think maybe after 1.5 months like this as a family, and we combined everything. But it was just that it was such an exhausting experience that we didn't complete our list. That's a different thing. But yeah, then also some of the reasons were there that some people are even feeling that the easing of government restrictions is not enough, and they are going to wait for guidance from medical authorities. So they are not even going to trust the government
Guidelines. Yes,
statements.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Very
So
true.
that has
Very
been a
true.
change that, it's like, what is that called? Actually, in Hindi, we say this, na? Sabko apna dekhna type of thing. Ki you have to take care of yourself. That's all there is to
True.
it.
Very true.
So,
Yeah. I mean, I've had people ask that, can we meet up, or things like that. So when that conversation comes up, I've got friends, I've got family, I've got even business people saying that hey, the government said that we are easing the rules. COVID did not say that it's easing out on us. So we're
yeah,
going to wait and watch at home until COVID itself says that we are easy to go.
yeah.
So that's something that's come out.
Yeah. Another interesting stat which was shared was that consumers in China and India remain more optimistic than their counterparts in the rest of Asia, Europe, or United States. So despite the fact that India's economy has taken a hit, it seems that people have confidence that, that with the measures and all that have been introduced, and probably that things are going to get better. Even in the stock market and all of that, despite the dips, people are predicting that it's going to get better.
Very true. Very true. We are eternally optimistic. Eternal hope.
Both of you, when you can make out when people go out in traffic, the way they drive, no, they think that nothing is going to happen because that's just optimism, sheer optimism. If other people die, I am not going to die. Doesn't happen to me. So
The
yeah,
invincibility myth.
yeah, absolutely. So I think
So,
this is,
Monica,
yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead,
today
sorry.
I just happened to open the notifications I got on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
and I think yesterday or day before they have collated some 10 most popular courses which job seekers need to watch out for. That's happened with
Okay.
LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so they have taken up courses like strategic thinking, learning Python, okay, and then project management, professional training,
Mm-hmm.
time management, which is completely focused on work from home, then Excel essential training,
Mm.
when learning personal branding, remote work foundations, writing a resume. These are things, these are the courses that people have taken. So basically, those who made good use of this time and not just whiled it away have done some beautiful work actually. I've seen a lot of people have, oh, the one shift that I've definitely seen during this time is everybody has a pot at home, like too many plants everywhere.
Yeah.
They have gotten into this, let's grow something at home, both as a hobby, definitely yes, but then they found that it was easier to probably grow things at home rather than go out every time to buy things. So
Mm.
there again, eternal hope that things will happen at home and they will be able to sustain at home rather than going out every twice, 4 times a week or every alternate day to pick up groceries.
Mm.
So the hope that things that they will be self-sufficient, they'll want to grow things at home, and very innovative gardening, from wall
Yeah,
gardens
yeah.
to utilizing the plastic at home. Just put some mud and cocoa peat into it and plant the seeds,
Mm.
and putting things right next to their bathroom sinks or kitchen sinks, small little plants there which can just grow. You just put your waste into it and it just grows from there. That is something that I've definitely seen during this time.
Mm. And because of that, the kind of training that is made available around these topics has also gone up. And
True,
it's
very true.
nice because people who have been doing this for ages, you know, so the small, and these are just regular people. They could be, it could be a homemaker, and they are getting an opportunity to share their expertise with a larger group of people, because this is being done by so many people in the world, but people have not been giving it enough attention. And now during with this situation, understanding the cause of the situation itself, which is pretty much caused by things that our species has done. So then, where people are thinking, okay, grow your own food, reuse your waste, recycle as much as possible, reduce your purchasing thing. Just because you can afford something is no reason for you to buy something. That has never been a reason. So um, so that's a good thing. That's that to that people have kind of taken a step back. That's good. That's as I said, like the reduction in the pace of people's lives, that is a very good thing. That's a good thing. And I think even from a marketing angle, we have to look at that. That if we look at all the things we talked about today about the change in consumer behavior, then our marketing strategy also needs to factor in these elements and understand what is more important to the customer today. Right? It may not be the cheapest price. Something else has become more important. Right? So how are you going to talk about it? How are you going to share that? How will you make sure your customers are informed about it? So you have to look at all the things that we talked about and see where you need to make the changes.
Whoa, so that's quite a bit of discussion today, Monica. I think we have covered both from a personal point of view, from experiences of people we know, and from a business perspective. We have seen the paradigm shift that the consumer behavior has noticed in the last 4 5 months, and I think that's huge. That's really huge. And for those of you who are watching, I'm pretty sure you are seeing the changes and you're looking at the challenges in your own business. And if you have these challenges, trying to communicate to people how you stand out or how your products and services are different, and during this time all you have to do is come to us. Write to us on Digi India Squad, that's DIGIINDIASQUAD @gmail.com, and we are happy to help you. With that, we come to the end of this episode. We have quite clearly discussed just about every behavior that we have seen in this pandemic times. And I'm sure you have seen more. You have seen something different. For that, all you need to do is leave a comment in the comment section, and we are happy to revert to you on this. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more. Thanks so much for this, Monica.
Yeah, same, Mansi. I had fun. This was actually a very fun topic to research also. And I hope that the listeners and the viewers also find it of value. So great. This has been a good session. Thanks, Mansi. We can.
Thank you. All right. See you folks. Thank you and catch you soon.